This Memorial Day, the community in Uvalde, Texas, is remembering those who tragically died in last week's mass school shooting at Robb Elementary School. 19 children and 2 adults were killed when a gunman opened fire on a classroom. The president and the first lady visited Uvalde Sunday, where Mr. Biden promised to take action to curb gun violence in the U.S. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano starts off our coverage from Uvalde, Texas.
6 days have passed since a gunman killed 19 students and 2 teachers at Uvalde's Robb Elementary School. As the victims are laid to rest, some members of the community are questioning why more wasn't done to save them.
One little girl was shot through the kidney with 1 bullet wound. She might have lived. Had she not waited and bled out, she might have lived.
Texas State Senator Roland Gutierrez told CBS News the young girl's family has a right to know what happened to her.
They said they don't want their daughter's death to be in vain.
At a Memorial Day event in Longview, Texas, Governor Greg Abbott asked the crowd to remember the school shooting victims as well.
What happened in Uvalde was a horrific act of evil. And as Texans, we must come together and lift up Uvalde and support them in every way that we possibly can.
Governor Abbott has said he was misled about what law enforcement's initial response was and has ordered an investigation.
Be assured, we will not relent until Uvalde recovers.
The Department of Justice is conducting its own review of the police response. President Biden visited Uvalde on Sunday and today expressed hope Congress will take action to prevent future mass shootings. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, Uvalde, Texas.
And Lilia joins us now from Uvalde. Lilia, I want to start off by playing some more of that sound from an interview you did with Jesse Rodriguez, who lost his 10-year-old daughter Annabelle in the shooting at Robb Elementary.
Have they told you when you'll be able to have a funeral or honor her?
Yep. Honor her on the 7th at 8. We're going to get the chance to see her. Where we'll make a decision there where it's going to be an open casket or closed casket. So either way, it's not a good sign of an open casket. So we're looking at these people probably putting their poor little body back together.
I'm so sorry. I can't imagine what that feels like for you.
And these guys just...
I'm so sorry.
They sacrificed them. And I hope a lot of parents speak up.
Yeah.
Because if not, I'm speaking up for all the parents.
Lily, it's hard not to feel emotional hearing that. Mr. Rodriguez is obviously facing decisions that no parent should have to face. Tell us, Lilia, just how are the families in Uvalde holding up?
Well, Lana, I mean, it's indescribable. As you heard, I mean, the things that Mr. Jesse Rodriguez told me, I will never forget. I will never forget. This is not just a parent losing a child, but a parent having to wait that many days, more than 10 days, because the body of their child was in such a state that it takes that long for him to even be able to see his daughter and decide whether to have an open or closed casket. Other parents are having memorials and visitations starting today. We earlier walked by, just right behind us is Hillcrest Memorial Funeral Home, where one of the victims, Anne-Marie Jo Garza, who you might remember Tony DeCopel interviewed her stepdad. That's the memorial for her. This is the same memorial where the children went in for shelter. It's the same place where the shooter began shooting. That just tells you just how small this town is. There's only 2 funeral homes that will be holding the services because there's 2 real funeral homes in this community. They're definitely keeping, the media, the press out. This is a moment for the community to mourn. As you can see behind me, beyond the funerals, finally these streets and these barricades have been lifted and the streets have been opened. I've never seen anything like the memorial here and the memorial over in the town square for these victims. The amount of people coming in, bringing flowers, bringing stuffed animals, just showing love, praying is overwhelming. But yes, you know, part of the concern initially was that how are these families going to afford these funerals? Well, we know that at least one donor has given $175,000 to cover all of the funeral costs, but so many other people are trying to help. A lot of these families, or most families, have GoFundMe pages, you know, to even help the families who can't afford to be out of work, like Mr. Rodriguez, who was telling me, he's a contractor, I'm trying to find someone to cover this job. I mean, he's so devoted to his job, and that level of integrity for what he does is so important to him that he doesn't want to just leave the job undone. He's trying to find someone to cover for him and some funding so he can go through the next phases of grief, of, you know, talking to attorneys, of finding accountability, of doing advocacy. So it's not just, you know, the mourning, but everything else that comes in the days ahead for these families is a lot.
Well, and Lilia, it feels like the pain is even more acute because there are questions about whether these deaths could have been prevented. The Justice Department announced that they're going to be reviewing the law enforcement response to the shooting at Robb Elementary School. What do we know about this?
You know, I've been talking to law enforcement, I've been talking to authorities. Here's what I gather. You know, at this point, nobody can give me a straight answer as to why there were children in the classroom calling 911, and somehow the person in charge, the commander, the incident commander in charge, was not aware or was making assumptions, or, you know, for whatever reason, he decided, or they decided, to change what they were responding to from an active shooter situation to a barricaded suspect, meaning there's no one at risk inside the space that he occupies. Once that call was made, then, you know, authorities and the several law enforcement agencies that were either locally, from the district, from the town, from the city, from the county, from the state, and even Border Patrol, you know, thought they had all this time to wait to respond. Well, there were children there who, you know, as we heard from State Senator Gutierrez today, saying, I spoke with a mother who believes her daughter bled to death. I mean, we're talking about minutes, not minutes, more than an hour, 75 minutes, you know, when seconds matter. So a lot of those questions are not only being asked within the agencies and state law enforcement and the local person in charge, but now, of course, by the Department of Justice. And people here in this town are angry, and they're very much welcoming that outside investigation.
Lilia, before I let you go, the President and First Lady obviously visited Uvalde Sunday. Anything more that you can tell us about how that was received by the community?
You know, people here felt, they really did welcome seeing the president here, seeing the governor as well, you know, feeling like this community absolutely matters. One of the things that all of us here have been talking about and struggling with is this is a tiny town of approximately 16,000 people. I mean, the amount of weight that we have put on this community, you know, with our presence, with all the crews, with all of us, you know, taking up spaces and really even weighing the digital signal is very hard, and, you know, kind of makes you feel guilty because it's such a big burden for this small town to carry. But at the same time, what I hear from people here locally is, no worries. We are grateful that you're here. We're grateful to see, you know, the anchors, to see the president. It shows us that we matter, and even though we might not be comfortable speaking out, we are grateful that, you know, the eyes of the world are on this community. So, you know, it's that back and forth with the president yesterday, going to a mass, talking to people. A lot of people told him, you know, please do something, which is what we keep hearing. And he did vow to do something, whatever can be done to prevent something like this in the future.
All right, Lilia, our hearts are certainly there with you in Uvalde. Thanks.